Hey everybody, my name is Jennifer. This is Metatron speaking. This is your February energy update. I am recording this on February 11th. 11th. You will get this probably on February 12th. We are deep into the month of February already. The energies of February are part of the reason that this message is coming to you so late. So I have a little bit of a channeled message that I want to give to you. I'm going to pull some oracle cards from some Dex Metatron shows. But in case you haven't noticed yet, February is kind of a rough month. I'm getting it really, really hard, especially. This is another, and this is so common. This is what we keep seeing every winter season, every winter month is energies that are bringing up dark things in us to be cleared. And so sometimes that's reminding us of behaviors we have that aren't ideal for us, or thought processes we have, or traumas that we're not letting go of. For me, the way I'm experiencing it is it's been very, I've been very like um, unmotivated and also feeling physically ill. But on top of it, very unmotivated, very not connected to my guides. So those are two things that are very unusual for me because I love what I do. I feel like I wish there was like four of me most of the time so that I could do four times the work, four times the videos, four times the everything. But the past, I was gonna say the past 2 weeks, the past 11 days, I'm not myself, and that's okay. That means the parts of myself that are not aligned with my soul are coming up for me to look at. And so that needs to be done. And so you may be experiencing this as well, although it may manifest differently for you, right? You might be in a bad mood. You might be sleeping all the time. You might be anxious. You might have these fears that are coming up for you all of a sudden. Could be a lot of different things. I'm going to pull up this message for you. So, this information that I got for February, I got it towards the end of January. And so, this is what I was given. So, Metatron, I always ask him, tell me what the energy of February is going to be like. And so normally he'll give me like a visual, physical experience. So he showed me choppy seas, the ocean with like, choppy waves in it. This is the energy of February. It is a bit off balance. It's a persistent energy of tearing down, of churning. It's the energy of change because the ocean was very unstable. It wasn't like stable, reliable. It was all over the place because that's how we change things, is having energy that's not stabilized. It's a month of acknowledging feelings, of looking in the mirror. It's a month of allowing yourself to grow into a different version of you. You were never meant to stay the same person year after year. Ra is showing me paper that is burning. So he said to me, old contracts, old agreements, old ideas, memories that don't benefit us. Destructive energy serves a purpose. So destructive energy is energy of the darkness. Darkness and light, we need both. Destructive energy serves a purpose. It is part of the cycle of change. Energetically, we are still making way for new things. There are large, new crops meant to be planted, but if the old crop is still in the ground, then it must be removed first. Do what you can to clear out the old to make way for the new. So he's giving this analogy of, we want to give you new energies. We want to Keep moving forward with your growth. But if you don't clear out the old, there's no room for the new to come in. You must choose to release old energy. The choppy waters of the energetic currents will bring to the surface things long hidden and forgotten, like an old sunken ship finding its way into the sunlight again. The past will surface so that it can be released instead of buried deep within you. The ghosts of your past do not need to take up residence in your energy. See yourself becoming new. See that in the springtime, new parts of you will sprout with the perfection of a new baby. But now you are opening the metaphorical closet door and finding that you have been holding things in storage for years that serve you no purpose. Don't store energy for the sake of having something. Store it if it strengthens you and adds beauty to your life. So that is the channeled message that I received. Okay, so we're going to go into cards. I have 4 decks here. I haven't pre-pulled the cards, so we're going to do this together like a family. This is the first deck he's choosing from, the Talisman Oracle. Oops. Get the book out of here. Okay. Should I do it like this? No, do it my usual way. Okay. I was going to try shuffling. Okay. Because most people shuffle Oracle cards. And do you want this one? Yeah. And then they wait for, no, this one. And then they wait for a card to like fly out, or they wait for a card to kind of be like sticking out a little. And I do that, but it's almost faster to just go through the deck one by one, and then I can just feel which one he wants. So now I'm putting all the cards down. Do you want anything else from this deck? Oh, okay. So let me see. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. So I'll put these over here. Let's see which ones he picked. Doesn't matter what order. No. Okay. We're going to talk about this. So this card says cast away negativity. That's kind of a loaded statement. There's a sword in here. So this is talking about thoughts. This is not tarot, but this is what Metatron is telling me. Okay. So this is talking about being mindful of the thoughts that you have that are not in alignment with the truth. So when you have thoughts that are judgmental about yourself or judgmental about someone else, when you have thoughts that are fearful, angry, helpless, hopeless, these are the kinds of thoughts that you're storing the energy, you're letting it cycle through your mind, but it's keeping you down. And we have to face these thought patterns in order to overcome them. And it's no easy feat. It takes time, it takes mindfulness, it takes practicing it over and over again every day to keep your awareness on it in order to let it go and raise your consciousness. So, this is the hard work that us light workers need to start really getting into. I want to talk about this more because this is saying cast away negativity. And a lot of times, negativity or darkness, even like the serpent, right? The snake, there's a lot of misled culture that, references the snake as being something like evil. It's really just representing divine feminine energy. But The conversation I want to have is that a lot of people fear darkness. A lot of people fear the darkness that they have within themselves. A lot of people fear the idea that they have had past lifetimes where they have done horrendous things. So let's talk about this, because I 100% guarantee you right now, with Metatron right beside me, you have done horrendous things in your past lifetimes. You have darkness within you. All of us do. So we need to talk about this, because this is not about shame. The 3D world sees darkness and they label it. They say, that's bad. You did something bad, so you are bad. And there's all these labels and shame and guilt and stuff that's being attached. What the spiritual world sees is that creator, the one energy that we all came from, is dark and light. And guess what? The goal is not to wipe out the darkness. The darkness is necessary. We just talked about in that message how darkness is needed in order to break down and destroy. It serves a purpose. It serves a divine purpose. It can serve other purposes that aren't divine. Obviously, that's what we're trying to move away from. But if you take darkness and destruction as a whole, and it scares you, and you're frightened of it, and you're frightened to be associated with it, and you push it away, you have a dark thought, you do something, you do a behavior that's dark, and you push it away because you're like, I don't want to be associated with that, I don't want to be that, I'm going to push it away. It's still there. Pushing away your darkness is part of what got us in this problem in the first place. When the first planet was created, Gana, the angelic souls were the first souls. All of them were used. All angelic souls incarnated on Gana. And then after that, other souls were created just for that planet. But all those angelic souls, all of the angelic souls that have ever been, including the archangels, all incarnated on Gana. And when we first incarnated there, it was paradise. It was perfect, right? It was only light. And we then had to go through the experience of darkness being introduced, and angelic souls were used to only being in the light. And so when we went and started experiencing darkness, it shocked our systems, and it started this, I'm going to say, like almost like an ancestral reaction. It started this long reaction into the future where we're scared of darkness. We don't know what this is. We're not used to this. Not realizing that we need this. We need darkness to learn. The reason that Earth is so special and so coveted by all the other souls, everyone wants to come here. All the souls want to incarnate on Earth because we're in 3D, because it is so difficult here, because there is darkness on Earth that is not available on other planets. It's just not available. It's just not possible because they have a higher vibration. You can't get into some of the horrific things that happen here, cannot happen on other planets. The reason everyone is so excited to come incarnate here and learn, the reason Earth is the planet of learning or the school of learning or whatever they call it, is because darkness teaches. Darkness is the only way to experience the suffering that is needed to bring about enlightenment. Darkness is needed for the suffering needed to experience enlightenment. We cannot wake up. We cannot become conscious. We cannot learn all these lessons that we value so much, these lessons about love, these lessons about compassion, these lessons that we've all come here to learn. We cannot truly understand what it means to love and how valuable love is until we have gone through many lifetimes of knowing exactly what it feels like for no one to love us, to feel unloved, to be rejected, to have very unloving things done to us. Not just the absence of love, but darkness coming towards us, right? So it sounds horrible, and it is horrible, but that horrible thing, that it's the ego in all of us that calls it horrible, right? The soul knows better. The soul says, I need this to learn, and I want to love the way Metatron loves. I want to love the way Yeshua loves. I want to love the way Mother Mary does. And you don't get there by having lifetimes full of love. You get there by being put through the flames of suffering. And then that is the opportunity. The suffering is the opportunity for us to find the wisdom, find the lessons and the understanding within the suffering. And so this is the alchemy that everyone talks about. Your suffering is tin. Your suffering is, no, not tin, lead. Thank you. Your suffering is lead. It's heavy. It's useless. It's ugly. But if you can bring your consciousness into it and allow it to teach you something, you can alchemize, you can transform the lead in your life to gold. From lead to gold, from worthless, from heavy to the most valuable, the most divine vibration. That is why we come here. That is why souls incarnate anywhere, is to go through this process. Earth is like the pressure cooker of this experience because there's so many opportunities for suffering, right? There's so many opportunities to be judged or unloved or whatever the case may be. So, all this to say, don't push away the darkness, because if you do, you're still going to have lead. Your lead will never be converted into gold unless you embrace the lessons and then release the rest of it. Embrace the lesson, embrace the gold part of it, because like let's say someone goes through sexual assault. Let's just use that as an example. So that is a very heavy, very dark experience. And so not all parts of that are useful, right? The memory is not useful. You have to go deeper into it. You have to look at it from a higher perspective to find what it is for you in any particular lifetime that was the gold, that was the thing that you came here to have a chance to learn. And so you sift through that darkness and you look for that piece of gold. When you find the piece of gold, you hang on to it, you put it inside yourself, and you blow away the rest of it. Because you don't need the memories. You don't need all the details. You just need the wisdom, and the rest can go. Overcome fear. So we're having our fears brought to the surface in order to look at them. Look, we have a light. We have a light because we fear the dark things, right? We fear the dark things, but the light is the truth, right? So we shine the truth onto our fear, and what can we find there? So, one of the fears that I've seen come up recently is surrounding my and Susan's Patreon group. So, we have a community of lightworkers, and I've noticed within myself and I've noticed within others that the the very fact of being in a group is triggering for some of us. So when you are triggered by something, when something makes you feel uncomfortable, take a look at what that feeling is. Look at it deeper, put the light on it. Don't run from the feeling, don't hide from the feeling. It's not going to go away. It's actually going to get bigger because then you're going to create this situation of resistance. So look at what the fear is. With myself, I'm aware of a past lifetime where I was kind of like a spokesperson or leader of a group. And I made some mistakes with how I led the group. And it ended up being a very traumatic experience for me. And so that that unresolved trauma is coming up for me, um, working with a group again. And so it's coming up for me because this is something I've been holding on to for many, 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 many lifetimes. It's time to look at it. It's time to resolve it. And so the truth is, I'm scared of repeating the past. But the past is what the past was. The past is what the past was. The past was what the past was. Um, we do this thing a lot, right, as human beings, where we're scared of repeating the past, but it happened that way in the past because we knew what we knew at the time. We were only as good, we were only as aware, we were only as skilled as we could be at any point in time. And maybe now we know more. And so we do differently. And so things have different outcomes, but we still fear past. Concealment. Man, I've never seen this card in my life. Okay, let's see. Interesting the way this message is coming through. Because the picture is somebody wearing a mask. They're concealing their identity, right? But this mask looks very lifeless. This is a dark energy. The way the eyes look, the way the skull is on the head. It's a dark energy. And so our unresolved traumas, the things we've come here to learn, if we can't become aware of them and take steps to change them, it kind of starts becoming the loudest thing about our personality. It starts blocking who we are, right? Because I can't be who my soul is because I'm so busy being fearful. I'm so down in my 3D human form, in my fear, or in my anger, or in my sadness, or in whatever it is that my soul is being concealed. It's like this ugly mask. Let go. Okay, so this is just validating what we already talked about. That we need to release what is no longer helpful. But there's parts of things that can't really be released until you look it over carefully, right? So you can have, like, let's do the sexual assault one. So let's say you have sexual assault and time has passed and you feel like you've processed it and you're just trying to, like, get rid of it and just forget about it already, right? Because you just don't want to focus on that. And that makes sense. Each person is going to be different. But if you haven't examined the experience from a higher perspective enough to find that gold, then the experience may keep returning to you because the experience knows that it's not it you haven't learned what you came here to learn from it yet. And so it'll keep coming back to you. So if you have things that are repeating like that in your life, sit down with them for a little bit. Try to write out what the feeling is. What is the feeling that keeps coming up from this? It makes you feel, and then once you have that feeling down, put the light up to it. Put the light up to it and ask yourself, is that feeling the truth? And see if you can look at the situation from a higher perspective in a way that would allow you to have understanding and compassion for those who commit crimes, for those who spread darkness, for those who are very dark. It's not asking for an erasure of what was done. It's asking you to step back far enough to see if you can access the knowledge that we are all one, that we all contain darkness, that we all have lifetimes as the rapist. We all have lifetimes as the one committing sexual assault. We all have lifetimes being the murderer. If you're like, if your soul, or your soul, if your head is like shake, if you're like, no, 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 no. If you're like resisting what I'm saying right now, acknowledge that, recognize that, because this is the light. This is you stepping away from your ego and your 3D self to step into something higher, because the truth is that we've all experienced darkness. We have all done the dark deeds that we despise, that we would say, I would never do that. We have. And so that mindset of I would never is the ego. The ego trying to separate, and the ego trying to have an identity. The ego saying, I'm good. I am good. I would never do that. But yes, we would, and we have, and we do. We do everything. We are everything. We are all part of the same energy. We're all part of Creator. And so the wisdom is recognizing where you separate yourself and where wants to be, your ego wants to have a real clean cut explanation. I am good. We don't really use the words good and bad in spirituality because those are judgment words, and there's no judgment. There's Whenever I would tell Metatron, "Oh, Metatron, you're so good," he would correct me. He's like, "No, I'm so loving." I'm like, "Oh yeah, yeah, you're right. You are loving." But it's not a judgment word. It's not good or bad. It's just he's loving. Okay, we're gonna do dragon wisdom. We have one card so far. Two, three, three cards. Okay, let's put these back. Doesn't matter what order. Nope. Okay. Mm, okay. Expression. So we have a blue dragon here. Blue, like the throat chakra, right? Throat chakra being a major chakra for expression of the soul, expression of the self. Of course, I'm clearing it because I'm talking about it. Um, yeah, okay. Well, the first thing I thought when I saw the card, I was actually thinking about the crystalline sapphire dragon. So this is a dragon that's used for protection. He's used for other things too. But he just reminds me of Archangel Michael's soul. His energy is very similar, so that's kind of why I describe it that way. Look at the other cards he pulled. Oh my God. What are you doing? Tell me that's not Ashtar. So we've got shadows, revelation, expression. So all these cards go together. So that's why I need to show them all to you at once. So the darkness, right? The shadows. The revelation is realizing that we can be Commander Ashtar and still have darkness that we're working out. And he does have darkness that he's working out. We all do. But here's the thing, we have the darkness. We need to face the darkness. We need to incorporate the darkness into us. We need to let go of the parts of the darkness that aren't helping. And it's ultimately how we choose to express ourselves that really kind of determines the soul. Because all of us have dark and light. All of us have the capacity to do the most beautiful, most light filled thing. We all have the capacity to do the darkest, most horrific thing you could think of. We all, under just the right circumstances, we would all be driven to horrific things if we had the right circumstances and we were not conscious of ourselves. That is the truth. That's why consciousness is so important. I'm asking Metatron if he wants me to talk about Ashtar, and I'm pretty sure Ashtar is like, no. Fair enough. So how we choose to express ourselves, becoming aware of the ways we behave and the ways we think that don't serve a purpose. Okay, I'm gonna put these cards down. All right. Let's see. I have two more decks. No, this one. Oracle of the Universe. I like this deck because it has I'm going to shuffle it because I saw the bottom card and I don't want to. I like being blind when I do this. It has constellations on it, and it just has a lot of imagery that leads me into a lot of galactic places, so that's kind of cool. I have two cards so far. This one? Three? All right, I have three cards, and I'm putting this deck away. Order doesn't matter. This is raw. Anytime I see a bird of prey in cards, it's raw. Creation. Okay. So Ra is saying okay. So this is Amun Ra. This is creator. Okay. So when creator created, it was using dark and light. He could not use only light. He could not use only dark. I say he. It's he, she. It's everything. Forgive my bias. Dark and light are needed. Balance is needed to make things, to make a better soul. I'm acting like I shouldn't look at these cards. Let me see what else we have. Oh my gosh, again with the fear. Normally, what we fear, it's like, I mean, check this out. This chick is like chained up. This sea monster's about to eat her. That seems like a bad situation. But isn't our fear kind of like this, where the fear feels massive? Like here's the woman. The fear is like clearly going to eat her. And how do we feel when we're scared? Helpless, victim, nothing we can do about it. We're all chained up. But is this the truth? Can we recognize that we aren't chained? That we can slide our hands right out of the cuffs? That this fear is probably the size of a little dolphin, but it feels bigger. It feels overwhelming and impossible. But it's not. But we have to, look at her. She has her eyes closed. She's looking away. She needs to turn around and open up her eyes and really look at her situation to see that she's probably got a little dolphin down here and not a massive sea monster. Andromeda, sacrifice. Andromedan galaxy. I'm not feeling into this one right away. That's kind of interesting. Okay. So, it's not okay. It's not tied to the other cards. I was thinking it was going to be tied to the other two. Some of what is being processed for us right now are the ways that we sacrifice ourselves, quote, in the name of love, right? We sacrifice our needs because we, quote, love someone else, so we're trying to take care of someone else's needs, but not ourselves. We need to let go of this idea. This is a false idea. Anyone who, and all of us have done it, I know it. Anytime we've sacrificed our body, our mind, our time, our money, or anything for someone else, when we ourselves had the need, it's not love. It's not love for the other person. It is lack of love for yourself. And so this is something that needs to be looked at. This is something that's coming up for people in February. Look at the way you're living your life right now. Are you prioritizing what you want? And if you're like, no, I can't. I have kids. I've got a job. You can never find peace or higher knowledge if you aren't taking care of your soul. You need to prioritize yourself first in order to find fulfillment, in order to feel what love really is. Yeah, he likes that one. In order to feel what, because we keep, right? We keep sacrificing ourselves to love other people, to do things for other people. But that's not what love is. Love starts with the self. February is about looking in the mirror and looking at yourself and tending to yourself. Okay. Um, we have more deck. I'm trying to put this one away. Okay. This is my weird deck. El Key. It's French. No, it's in English, but let's see. El Key. I believe that just translates into she who. She who. And you'll see why, because all the cards say she who does this, she who does that. 1, 2, 3. All right, 3. 3 was the magic number. Okay. It's funny. Metatron tends to like 3 or 7. Of course, those are very powerful numbers. Okay. Does the order matter? No. Good. She who battles. I cannot say that name. Justice, fierce, commitment. Do you feel like you're doing battle in your life? Do you feel like you have to strap on your armor and find your sword before you head out the door? Before you head to your, I don't know, your social event or your job? Is life supposed to be a battle? It's funny because the internal work that we do absolutely is a battle, and that's actually why we're here. But we aren't supposed to be doing battle on the outside. We aren't supposed to be dragging ourselves to war, making commitments that leave us looking lifeless, looking like life is miserable, like you just have to endure. Think about those. We have she who hesitates, and it says ponder, delay, confidence. Yeah. So, do you feel fearful or insecure to step forward for the things you want in life? Are you delaying your growth because you're waiting to feel more confident? The truth is, you're not going to feel, if you're waiting to feel more confident in order to do something, you're doing it backwards. You go and you do the thing, and that makes you more confident. The Patreon group that Susan and I have under the name Orange Light Energy, the group is being given really big work. I haven't even told them yet, but there's work coming down the line for them that is huge. Huge, 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 huge. And so we're getting to work as a group towards all these really valuable goals that impact the collective. But each time, each step of the way, where we're doing something in order to prepare for or do work for Earth or for the moon or for whatever, each step of the way, Metatron and Ra and whatever guides we're working with, they're also doing things to work on us as individuals. They are working on our personal journeys by giving us energies that encourage us or give us more opportunities to do the emotional, personal work that we came here to do as individuals. So, someone commented, actually, I think it was today or yesterday, they left a comment about something that we had done in the group on Patreon that had really, um, that they could feel the benefits in their personal life, that they could see this giving them an opportunity for their personal growth. And that's what part of it is. So yes, we're together as a group to do work, but we're also there to overcome our personal fears. We're there to overcome our personal doubts, the ways that we lack confidence. So all of it's being worked on simultaneously. I think I have one more card. Yes, I do. She who yearns. Yearn, longing, pine for. If you are someone that is yearning to start making a difference for the planet, you want to start working in the capacity of a light worker, but maybe you have no confidence. Maybe you don't have any, you just started on your journey. Maybe you're brand new to this journey. Maybe you aren't able to communicate with your guides at all. So you feel like you have no gifts, you feel like you're not confident, you're not quite sure what you're doing, but you have the yearning, you have the longing. Your soul is like, but we are supposed to do something. If that is you, please consider our Patreon group, because the only prerequisite for it is the longing to make a difference, the longing to improve. Obviously, the cool side effect is that also, while you're doing this work for the collective, all of your guides are going to be supporting you to have an internal journey to work on yourself. Okay. That's the only, something else? Okay. he's tying it into the battle card. So, stepping away from the things you feel obligated to do, the things you do out of commitment and out of duty, stepping away from this energy of battle and struggle and stepping into what do I long for? What do I love? And trying to incorporate more of this and less of this. Okay. Those are all the cards that I have. I want to tell you about a service that Susan is doing at our business, Orange Light Energy. This is a new service. I think it's going to be massively impactful for people. So I want to make you aware of it. It's called, probably going to say it wrong. I want to say it's called relationship trauma removal. That's what it feels like. So, what it's for is if there is a trauma between you and another person, let's just kind of keep it simple. So, you and one other person, the person can be living, the person can be departed. If there is a joint trauma between you, and if their higher self will allow, then Susan can go in and do an energetic clearing and healing of this original trauma, the same way that you can do like an Akashic Records reading for an individual in order to remove a trauma that's a block, in order to give them an opportunity to choose a new behavior in order to heal it. It's the same concept, but this is with either 2 individuals or it can be up to 3 individuals. If you're doing the 3 individuals, she can only clear a trauma if it is shared by all 3 of you. So if you choose 3 individuals, she can clear anything that all 3 of you have. But if just 2 of you have a bunch of traumas, it's not going to clear those. It has to involve all 3. So be mindful of how you choose these arrangements. But this is just has so much potential to help people because there's so many relationships that we have where there's a block there. There's a block to love. And we're just not getting through to that other person the way we want to. And if there is something energetic there that is holding that dynamic in place, she can clear it for you. And then that allows both of you to be able to make more conscious choices. But you have to choose to make the more conscious choice. But she can energetically remove the block if there is one. So if you're interested in the service, please check it out. You can message her about what you're thinking about, and she can tune into it and see if it's something where the other souls are consenting to it, and to see if there is a joint trauma or traumas that she can clear for it. So you can check that out on our website. Okay, so that's everything that he wanted me to share. So I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.